Here we have a slightly used 2023 Infiniti QX50. This one comes in the sport trim level in black obsidian. And then we do have Monaco red perforated leather interior. Now the powertrain on this QX50 consists of a 2-liter variable compression turbocharged 4-cylinder, and that's made it to a continuously variable transmission. That gives us 268 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. And then this one has almost 2,200 miles on it, so pretty low miles, but it is a 23. But to the front end here, love the styling. It does share quite a bit with the Q50, and that's one of my favorite cars in terms of just the exterior styling. We have our LED headlamps, LED daytime running lights, and LED fog lights. And I just love how all this is blacked out here. Just a sick look in my opinion. Grille looks fantastic. And then as we come around to the wheels here, we do get 20-inch aluminum wheels. Again, pretty similar styling to what I'm used to seeing on the Q50s. But we get passive keyless entry on all 4 doors. And then to the door panel here, again, the styling is fantastic. I love that trim there. It has a nice kind of grainy feel to it too. It's not just clear like a laminate feel, so I like that. And then blind spot monitors here. There's a tweeter. We do get a 12-speaker Bose sound system. And then memory seat functions are here. Just hit set and then hold the number you want to set it to. And then we do have our power mirror controls here. You can pick left, right, or turn it off there. And then you can use the dial to adjust either side. And then you can either fold in your mirrors or you can fold them out. And then you can offset those when it's set to the middle there. And then power door lock controls here. 1-touch automatic up and down windows on all 4 doors. And then the rear window lock is here. Pretty big size bottle holder, a little additional storage. And then over here, we have the controls for the steering assist. We can toggle that, the parking sensors, and then that power lift gate. Gauge cluster brightness here, headlamp controls are here. And then fog light controls right there. And there's the hood release. And we get a manual tilt telescope steering wheel. But here's the power driver's seat. We do get power lumbar support 4 ways. Love that. And I just love the design of this seat overall. Very pretty. But I want to give a huge shout out to Ford of Franklin for allowing me to review this QX50 today. I'll leave a link below in the description. But this one's stickered, and this isn't the actual window sticker, but this one's stickered right around, I think, 50,000, a little more than that. But let's go ahead and take a look at this rear seat room. I do have the seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs, so let's check this out. So one of the cool things about the QX50 first and foremost is you can recline the seat, so gonna make that a bit more comfortable. And not the best leg room, but decent. I had a 2019 one of these, and basically I just needed room for the baby back here, and it did just fine. But here we have our rear AC vents, a USB-C, USB-A charge port, and a storage pocket there. And there's a view of the front. Now I will say with the seat recline, even with this sunroof, still have about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch of headroom. And grab handle here, we could probably fit a plastic hook or 2 metal hanger hooks right there. And then that just shows you the difference when the seat's up and then when it's back. Let's go ahead and fold this center seat down. Cup holders are here, and then a little storage pocket there. But let's make our way towards the back now. And child lock is here. If you ever want to lock that, you can just click it that way, and then that's how you unlock it. Now to the fuel filler here, there's a fuel cap, and one of the downsides of this is it only takes premium. You're only supposed to put premium in it. Let me put it that way. But to the back end here, we do get our LED tail lamps. And that was one of the best things about the QX50 when I had one, is just having the full LED lights. Made it very easy to see at night. Now we're gonna pop the lift gate. And there's a view of the cargo space. And underneath here, little additional storage room. and then a 12 volt here, and we can fold these seats flat by pulling up here. But the seat belts are attached in this one, so I'll show you that here momentarily. I might have to come back around. So we can click that, and then when you pull this here, when the seat's up far enough, you can fold it flat that way, or again, you can go to the back. And then to the front passenger seat, we do have power adjustability, no lumbar support here, but. And I will say, when I had my 2019, the anchors were pretty easy for me to use, and it was easy to tighten the seats and all that. Lockable glove compartment here. So if you do have a couple of car seats, there's not the best amount of space in the rear seat when you have taller people up front, but it's doable. And where this vehicle is so small, honestly, it does a pretty good job at maximizing space. But mostly covered up there, there's that 2-liter VC turbo 4-cylinder. Let's go ahead and make our way to the driver's seat now. So I like the leather wrap steering wheel, and if you heard that door close, that's one of the other things I liked about this vehicle, is it has a luxurious feel to a lot of stuff, including just how that door closes. Feels closer to a Mercedes than a typical Nissan. But to the radio here, you basically have your navigation screen up for the most part, and you can change a little bit of that, but mostly that's what stays up here. And then of course you have your backup camera, and the guidelines follow you to turn the steering wheel. Have that 360 view, and then let me turn that front camera on. There's the front camera there, and you have several different viewpoints for that as well. But down here, this is where you have all of your stuff that you can control, basically. So first of all, in terms of audio, we do get AM, FM, XM, and then we still have a CD player in this 23, one of the perks of not having an update for a minute. And then we have Bluetooth, wireless Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto compatibility. And then from here, we can enter an address, and then I can just start typing in whatever. I always like to use Walmart because they're everywhere. So you start typing that in, click that there, and then it'll pull that up as a destination, and it's showing the closest one there. And then you have different ways of getting there, whether you want to save on fuel, go the shortest distance, or go the fastest route. And a lot of the times they're the same for something that's this close. So, but if you're 2 or 3 hours away, it'll tell you the different ways you can get there based on what you're wanting to do. So driver assistance, all of this you can toggle here. I love that. And then your Bluetooth connections, you go in here, add new, walks you right through it from your phone. And then from your settings here, you can go through your connections, your sound, so you can adjust the bass, treble, balance, fade. Just a lot that you can do here. And then if you ever want to change your language, you can do that here. Tire pressure units, so things of that nature. And then in here, you can change your units from miles to kilometers, or temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius. And then our climate controls are here, so you can see the temperatures are down here at the bottom of the main screen. And then from here, we can actually toggle the heated steering wheel, sync and unsync the AC controls, or the driver and front passenger, excuse me, and then the AC toggle there. And we can turn the fan speed up or down from the screen. But for me, it's just easier to use the buttons here on the side. Same thing for the fan direction, we could change that here. And then that auto mode we can toggle, and then to turn that off, just adjust the fan speed. And then we can adjust the temperature from the dials on either side. Defroster's here, and we can cut the whole system on and off with that button. But one of my favorite things about this is, on this one in particular, we get heated and cooled seats with this sport trim. So It's great to have that. I only had heated seats in mine, but hazards are there. We can go back to the home page, and then we have our quick shortcut buttons down here, CD drive there, volume knob here. We can click that, turn the audio off. And then down here we have a USB-C, USB-A port, 12 volt, and then wireless charging pad here, cup holders. And then if you ever want to use this to go through that navigation screen, you can do all of that there. And then again, that camera toggle's right here. But for the shifter, we do get that newer shifter that we're starting to see in the newer Nissans, Infinitis. Hit this button here, pull down for drive, and then you can tap it again for manual, tap up for neutral, and then pull all the way up for reverse, press P for park. Electronic parking brake, pull up to engage, hit the brake, press down to disengage, automatic brake hold, and then our drive modes, we can toggle through right here up and down. So we have Eco, Standard, Sport, and then we can set up our personal mode. And then our center console cubby space is here. I like how they did that. Tons of space in there, and then you have a smaller tray up front here, and it looks fancy. Let's go ahead and take a look at this sunroof. I'm gonna slide that shade back. Sunglasses holders here. And then here are all the buttons. But the shade goes pretty far back, which I appreciate. And then we can slide that back, and then and close it back one touch as well. But there's a look at the back seat from up here. And then back to the steering wheel. Blinkers are here, and then high beam toggle flash. And then over here we have our windshield wiper control, so one time, and then intermittent low high, and we can adjust those intermittent wipers here. And then we have a rear wiper there, intermittent on, and then pull back for the rear wiper fluid, push up for the front wiper fluid. And we can go through our radio stations or track lists right here. And then if you click this button, this actually turns into a menu up top, and you can scroll through those options using that same dial, and then use the OK button to further go into each menu option. And then use that back button on the side here to do that. But volume controls, voice recognition, Bluetooth. And then to the right side, we have our gauge cluster. We can go through those sub menus there. So tire pressure, fuel economy, all that. And then we can turn on the safety system here, and then adjust the gap adjust for that intelligent cruise there. And then of course regular just cruise buttons there. There's a view of the gauge cluster close up. Here's the push button start. Finally, here's that newer key fob with remote start. But next, let's go ahead and take this 2023 Infiniti QX50 out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this 23 QX50, again, I said I had a 2019. When I owned mine, there were a few issues that I had with that vehicle, and I'll probably have the same issues with this one. But one thing that's always been great about these is the interior, in my opinion, and this one just kind of takes that to a new level. Love how the screen is set up here. It's slanted, at least that bottom one is. Now you're getting a little bit of glare on this top screen, but you can adjust that brightness to fix that. And it's pretty easy to do in the Infinitis. But I like where the paddle shifters are located. I like where all the buttons are on the steering wheel. I like the position of the shifter. And I also just like the overall visibility, even with this sportier hood, how it kind of flows throughout. Still, visibility is fantastic. And then also the safety features that come on here are nice. I like having the intelligent cruise, the blind spot monitors, having the rear and front cameras. And I mean, the Bose sound system is one of the best sound systems that I've come across in these QX50s. My 19, I love that. That was my favorite thing about that vehicle. And then here in this 23 as well, I tested it out just to see, and it's still fantastic sound. Most of my issues with this vehicle come with having a CVT transmission in something like this, and I really wish that, and I mean, I get it, this is kind of the Rogue for Infiniti, but something like this I think just needs a an automatic transmission that's shiftable. And that was the biggest reason I got rid of my 19 QX50. First of all, it took premium gas, which was extremely expensive. But also with the CVT, I felt like even in sport mode, I wasn't getting what I should be getting in terms of a driving experience. It lacked in every which way, in my opinion. Now with this CVT, I will say, you get pretty good fuel economy for a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, specifically a variable compression one like this, where you get pretty good bursts of acceleration. You're getting 23 city, 29 highway. Now you do have the eco mode, and I will say that eco mode, something else I didn't like about the QX50, and it does its job, but it just, I'll show you. I put it in the eco mode, and then I put my foot down, and it just, you can never tell what it's gonna do. A lot of the times in the 19, it would limit me just big time. It didn't even feel right. Now here, this feels a little bit better. I don't know if they recalibrated or whatever, but in mine, the eco mode, it just was basically like a coast almost. It was just weird. But again, this one, it feels a little bit better. And then the standard mode is pretty much what I would keep it in most of the time. And then the sport mode, I just kind of did that for fun. But the sport mode just, it didn't do it for me. I felt like the CVT just, again, just didn't make it feel right. And I'll show you that getting on the interstate here. I mean, the pull power is great, but if you're trying to accelerate from, let's say 40 or 50 to 60, 70, it did weird stuff. But again, that might change because mine was a 19, this is a 23, so we'll just have to see. I'm gonna put it in a sport mode now, getting on the interstate, and we'll see how it pulls. So I will say it's always been a quiet cabin. I do like that. But yeah, the CVT just, again, this one feels better than my 19, but still, it's just not, it doesn't feel that sporty to me. Now it's definitely quick, but it's not right. They need to put, in my opinion, a 7-speed, 8-speed, 9-speed automatic in here that I can actually shift the paddles with, and it feels like a real transmission. Because, you know what, I shouldn't even say that, because I feel like a lot of people in this segment don't care about necessarily a driving perspective like I do. Again, for me, it's not my favorite, but for the vast majority of people in this segment, they don't really care. They're worried about the looks, they're worried about the fuel economy, and mostly just driving an Infiniti. But ride quality is decent, road noise is pretty good. This is a rough stretch of interstate here, so it's always loud and whenever I drive. But another issue I had was the Pro Pilot Assist on mine. Again, I feel like this one is a bit better, but mine was just kind of finicky in my 19. But I mean, if you're looking at a Mercedes GLC, something like that, this is a pretty good option. It's cheaper, but it does have that CVT, which again is not my favorite thing. But if you're liking the looks of this vehicle, you probably won't be disappointed with it. It has power, I don't like how it shifts, but if you're in the market for something like this, you probably won't care. And this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2023 Infiniti QX50 Sport.